Today I'm going to be sharing a very special video with you. I recently had the wonderful good fortune to meet a dear sweet lady, Ruby Morrow. She was born in 1934 in the Violet section of Cherokee County, North Carolina, here where I live. We talked about Ruby's life, about growing up, being born there in Violet, growing up, getting married, raising her kids there in that community. She's a wonderful storehouse of knowledge when it comes to old ways. If you think about growing a garden, making a garden, preserving the food from it, and just the general culture of Appalachia. There were so many things I enjoyed that day getting to talk to her during our conversation, so many things I enjoyed. One of the things that jumped out at me was when she said her father always grew a big crop. And she wasn't talking about like a crop of corn or a crop of tobacco or something like that. In those days, if you grew a big crop, that just meant you grew a big garden. She shared some of the ways that they preserved that bounty. One of the interesting ones I've heard before, I've never seen it done though, she told about how her father would bury cabbage to keep it until they needed to eat it, and how it never, ever rotted. Shining through all the things that Ruby talked about while I was interviewing her was the real strength of the Appalachian people. The way she put it was, whatever was to be done, we done it. That was just all there was to it. It just had to be done, so they took care of it. I hope you enjoy this video, this first interview with Ruby. I hope that there'll be many more in the future. Yeah. Today I'm in Violet, North Carolina, talking to Ruby Morrow. Did I get that right?
Right.
Yeah, it's the first time I've ever met Ruby. I'm really excited though to meet her, and she lives in a beautiful, beautiful place. So we're going to talk to her today about her life. I guess we'll start with when were you born, and were you born in Violet?
I was born in Violet in 1934, and
You lived here ever since?
I lived here ever since.
Yeah.
I didn't move 10 miles away from home.
Yeah. Never needed to.
Never needed to.
Yeah.
I've lived here for 70 years.
That's amazing. Wonderful.
Yes.
Did you have a big family, your mom and dad? Do you have lots of siblings?
13.
13, wow.
There was 13 in our family.
Were you in the middle or at the top?
I was number 10.
Almost at the end then.
Almost at the end.
Yeah.
I was number 10.
Did most of them stay in this area, or some of them move off?
Part of them stayed, most of them moved off in order to work.
Did your mother and father, were they primarily like farmers, or what did they do for employment?
They were farmers. They were farmers. My dad was a blacksmith, and he did a lot of work for the community. He could make a wagon. He could make anything you wanted made. And at one time he was, when they started the Oak Ridge nuclear plant, he was called there for a while as a blacksmith to help make it.
So I wonder, was he like self-taught, or somebody in the community taught him? He's self-taught.
Self-taught.
Were there many blacksmiths like in the, I know each community had one. He probably was the main one for Violet.
He was the only one that I knew of.
People probably come from quite a ways to get him to work on stuff.
That's right.
Yeah. So he did that, I guess, as a way to earn money, but then also did the farming. In those days, of course, everybody had to do some type of farming, or they'd starve.
Yes, he made a big crop. Had to feed 13 kids.
Yeah.
But he did a lot of other things. He had a grist mill. He would grind corn for us and then for all the community. They would bring their corn to have it ground.
So that was a busy household. If you had people coming for blacksmithing, and then people coming to get their corn grind.
It was a very busy place.
Did some of your, I guess it was a family affair, probably some of your siblings had to help with the corn and cornmeal and the stuff? Yeah.
They did. And when my dad would go off to work somewhere else, my mom ran the grist mill, just like he did.
Was it water powered?
It's water powered.
Those places were usually ended up being the hub of the community because everybody had to have that meal to live, to eat.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And we didn't have to worry about the meal because when he would grind their corn, he would keep one portion, like a quart of meal, as payment.
So that supplied your
So
family.
it supplied us with meal.
Yeah, very self-sufficient kind
Right.
of. Yeah.
And
When you talk about, he said he grew a big crop. What was some of the things? I'm sure did he grow corn? I'm sure.
he grew corn, and then our garden, he grew a lot of things like potatoes and tomatoes and corn. But one of the most interesting things that he did with the cabbage, and we made kraut, of course. Everybody made kraut. But he would take, in the fall, he made 2 gardens, one in the spring and one in the fall. But I remember him storing the cabbage for winter time. And he would go out and dig him a big hole, and he'd line it with hay, and he would put the cabbage in there, and then cover it with hay. And those cabbage stayed there all winter without freezing.
And then you just pull them up as you need them. I've always wanted to try that, but always it's like a fear, like I'm going to put them in there and they're all going to rot.
They're good. I've never seen one rot.
Yeah.
But we had different ways of storing food. We always had plenty.
When they made kraut, did they do it in churns, like in the big, or how?
In the churns, yeah. We don't do that anymore. We have a more modern way of doing it.
Yeah, a lot of those old ways have fallen out of fashion.
It has.
Yeah.
It's just more convenient to do it like we do.
Yeah. What about other methods of preserving? Like the corn, of course, I guess you dried it
And our beans we dried.
dried leather breeches.
Yes, leather breeches. My youngest grandson told us that the first of this week, he had heard people talking about shuck beans. He said, I think I'd just love shuck beans. So we cooked some, and he wouldn't eat them. Once he tasted them, that was it.
Yeah. They do have a different taste.
I said, Isaiah, if you'll just put a little ketchup on that, I bet you'll enjoy it. And he did. He put ketchup on them, and he ate some of them.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Yeah. So not as many people making leather breeches today, too.
I think some of them do.
Yeah, there's some of them do. Lots of people, the people that I know that do, they make them not on as large of scale, but they make sure they have some maybe for Thanksgiving and Christmas, like those special kind of meals. Yeah.
I put them in the dehydrator.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, it's the easiest way to do it now.
But we always strung them up on strings and hung them
around. Yeah. What other kind of preserving? By then, did you have like canning jars? And so did they do a lot of canning?
We did.
Yeah.
There was a lot of things that we canned, but there was a lot of things that we dried also. I remember the pumpkin, most people would, well, in fact, we laughed. We made fun of it at that time. But we grew a lot of pumpkins, and my dad would cut them in rings and put a string across the room, and he'd hang those rings on there to dry. And we had pumpkin pies for Christmas and Thanksgiving.
Yeah. And then you just reconstitute it in water and then cook it?
Right. Like you would do dried apples.
Right.
Same thing.
Did you dry a lot of apples too?
We did. We dried a lot of apples.
Use them for stack cakes or hand pies or all sorts of things, I guess.
Cakes, yeah.
What was one of your favorite things when you think about all that garden goodness from those days that you look forward to your mother making?
Oh my, I hadn't thought about that one.
It's all such good eating.
It was all good.
Yeah.
I don't think I had a favorite. I think
it's the best eating of the year when it's
always said I could eat anything. But it was all good. We had plenty to eat. We always had a couple of hogs we would kill. and a beef. So we had plenty. Mama had her chickens. We had lots of chickens. Took a lot of eggs for 13 kids.
Oh, I bet, yeah, for sure.
There was not 13 kids ever at home because they would marry off.
Of the age, yeah.
So he didn't have that many to feed at one time.
So I guess hog killing took place fall, late, early winter.
I never did like hog killing. It's a nasty, dirty job to me, but we never let anything go to waste. They would, do the hams and the shoulders and put them up to dry or cure. But Mama'd always take the small things like the liver and the kidneys and even the hog's ears, and she'd make souse meat. That's one thing Garson wrote down here. She loved it so well. You grind it up real fine, and it was good.
Put spices and stuff in it. Was that something you ate mostly? You ate it like just after? You didn't try to preserve it? It was more of a fresh.
Didn't preserve it. We just ate it.
Yeah, what my dad said.
Yeah.
That was probably a happy time though, even though it was a lot of hard work, because you knew you was going to get some good fresh stuff to eat.
They always looked forward to the next day after hog killing when they could have tenderloin. And we'd always make tenderloin and then make biscuits, and so that was a treat after killing the hogs.
Did a lot of people come gather kind of to help with that?
Most of the family. The family always came in and helped.
What about the beef? Was it a certain time of the year too, or just when you needed
In
it?
the fall,
in the fall too.
And we would hang it, and it would dry, just like the hams. And they'd go in and just cut some off of it.
And then fix it for whatever meal you were having.
We had a house that had porch all the way around it, and he had taken one corner of that porch and made a smokehouse out of it.
Oh, wow.
So we didn't have to go very far to get our...
That was handy.
It was handy.
Yeah, handy.
So.
Did he grow sorghum, or did you have anything to do with that, or maybe have bees for honey?
We did not have bees, but he didn't. We didn't grow the
sorghum. Yeah.
But he was the town syrup maker.
Oh.
They always called on him to come and make the syrup.
So he got some that way.
That furnished us all winter long, because most of the families would plant the corn, I can't remember, the cane.
Yeah.
They would plant the cane. But he made all the syrup in the county, or in Violet.
In Violet.
And then that furnished us with
sweetening for the
winter time.
Yeah. I guess in the spring when you was getting ready to plant that big garden, it was kind of all hands on deck.
All hands on deck, right.
Everybody had to help.
We all worked.
Did he plow with oxen or with horses or mules? Or
he had a team of oxen there for a while, and then he switched over to mules. Had the donkeys. And then it became a tiller.
Yeah, as the years went by.
Yeah, we had a tiller, but not long. We didn't have one long.
I guess all of you, that was part of your, did you have chores? Like, was that part of your chores? You had to help in the garden, whether it was weeding or?
Whatever was to be done, we done it. We didn't have chores.
You just had to help.
If it needed to, we done it.
It took help though, with that many, when you think about feeding and keeping warm and keeping water.
It took a lot. And we had to carry our water to the house. We had a branch down below the house, big stream of water coming through, and that was what we used to wash and mop and take baths with. But we had our drinking water, we had a long ways to carry it from a spring. We had two different things. We didn't drink anything out of the branch because the cows was in it. But but we could use it to bathe in and to wash clothes or whatever, to clean house. But we had to carry that water. And I remember when I was a little girl, I was too small to do too much. But I carried water from the branch for my older sisters to wash with. And I kind of sort of got to complaining about it. I'm through. I'm not going to carry any more water. And they said if I didn't stop complaining, I would have to carry it from the spring, which was a long ways off. I did not stop complaining. So I ended up carrying water from the spring up to the wash pot. It didn't take me long to stop complaining.
Goodness. I guess wash day was a huge experience for that many people too, thinking about washing.
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
A production.
It certainly was. Clotheslines everywhere. But we got it done. But later on in life, we got an automatic washing machine. Set on the porch. I think it ran with gas or batteries. I'm not sure, but there was no electricity.
So what about thinking about electricity? Like, did you have exposure to at an early age? Of course, you have in later years, but think of radio or TV or anything like that.
We had a radio that we always ordered a big battery from Sears and Roebuck, and we listened to the radio very much.
You listen to the music or like the shows that used to come on?
Oh yes, we heard the Lone Ranger.
Yeah.
Gene Autry, Roy Rogers. That was a big thing.
Yeah.
And then Saturday nights it was Grand Ole Opry. So we had entertainment. And we had I think we had the first radio, and they would come, the community would come on Saturday night to hear the Grand Ole Opry.
Come to listen.
Yeah.
Was anyone in your family musical?
All of them except me. They could all pick the guitars, banjos, all that. The boys could, and the girls played the piano, but I was never musically inclined. I was left-handed for one thing.
That makes it hard, yeah.
But I tried the piano and I couldn't. I would learn it one week and forget it before the next week.
For the next one,
So
yeah.
I quit on that.
So in Violet, because you're a far piece down here from the settlement up there, even Hiawassee down, how big was your school that you went to?
Well, we went to Violet for a while, and I can't remember how big it was, but it's just a one-room school. And then we went to Hiawassee down on bus. I think it was in the 8th grade that we started going there.
That's a long bus ride.
It was.
Yeah.
But there was 2 buses coming into Violet. There was so many kids, they had to have 2 school buses.
Okay.
And now they have 1, and they have maybe halfway full, just a few kids.
Yeah.
They've all moved away.
Did you enjoy school?
I did. Yeah, I enjoyed school.
What about your church? I've seen the church, I guess the one you still go to today, but was that the same?
It's the one and only.
One and only, yeah. Okay. So that one's much closer, not too far.
Yeah, we didn't think anything about walking to church.
In those days, yeah.
In those days.
You walked everywhere you went, I guess.
I walked to church from here a lot till I learned to drive. And I got a car.
Yeah. Because you're living in a remote area like this, just my own curiosity, do you go to Murphy like for groceries and stuff, or do you go where's closer for you to go? Do you go to Copper Hill or somewhere like that, or?
Well, really, we don't pay too much attention to it. We just go wherever we want to go.
Wherever you want to go, you're used to the
now that
distance.
we have cars and we go to Chattanooga for the doctors, and we go to Murphy and Copper Hill, shopping all of them.
It's interesting you getting to live in the same place all that time. Your perspective, how it's changed. You can remember the times it was probably a hardship to get to go to Murphy or wherever you were going. And then now you're like, why, that ain't nothing. I'll just get in the car and go.
And that's what we do.
Yeah, right.
But at that time, it was hard to get to the grocery store. In fact, we very seldom ever went. Mm-hmm. One person would go and get all that we
needed. Get everything you needed, yeah.
We never, I didn't go shopping until, goodness, high school.
Mm. So did you ended up getting married?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and having kids and all that. You want to tell us a little bit about that? How old you were, or was he from Violet too?
He was raised right here, and I was raised on the other end of Violet. And I was 19 when I got married, and he was 29. And I moved in here, and I've been here ever since. Mm. So, kids raised here.
Yeah, how many kids?
4.
4 kids, yeah.
3 boys and a girl.
Mm. Did they stay close, or have they left? Or?
No, my daughter lives in Lawrenceville, Georgia. She's trying to move to Peachtree. And I have one that lives in Florida and one in Crossville, Tennessee. And the baby boy lives up in the holler.
Okay, yeah. That's nice. Yeah, for him to be close.
And they've all been to college. And the third one, he didn't like school. He didn't like school from the beginning. So he got his education after he got out of school. Mm-hmm. He just took it a little bit at a time.
Mm-hmm. That's all right.
And,
yeah.
But the others went to college from here.
So what do you try to, you still live in this, like you said, in the same place, so that hadn't changed. Do you think about the other changes? I know you still grow food to eat, but not on the scale of your father, of course, because you don't have 13 kids to feed.
I don't make a garden anymore. I live out of my children's garden.
Right. So you still do some of the old ways. You're still holding on to them. Yeah.
I still do.
Still putting up food.
Making hominy. We can beans. In fact, now we got 2 freezers, and we don't can as much as we can.
As you can freeze, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I've been hearing about your hominy making. I hope I'm going to get to come and witness that.
I hope so.
Yeah. Mom and Daddy made hominy in my lifetime, but they made it the easy way. They made it like in a crock pot or whatever. I want to see the old-fashioned way.
And they probably used soda.
Yeah, they did. They didn't use lye. Yeah.
We use lye.
Yeah.
And it's much, much better.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, I bet. I like hominy.
It's a 3-day job. Mm-hmm. It takes you 3 days. One to make the lye, then do the hominy, and the next day you can it. Mm-hmm. So I had 3 calls this week how to make kraut.
Did you?
And I thought everybody knew how to make kraut.
No, they don't.
She makes some different things than what we did, like some of her.
Yeah.
What was it? Is it the dilly beans we learned from you, I think, or something?
Yeah, we made dilly beans.
The pickled okra and some of that stuff that we didn't do
And
before.
we didn't do hominy before she told us.
No. She's the one who taught Chris how to do hominy. Yeah.
That was a voucher and got some big old pots. We done it at the house one year with one of them.
And you done it here some.
Yeah, we done it here a lot.
It's important for us to learn those old ways like hominy and those things. There might come a time where you had to go back to those ways, and sadly lots of people, it's just because people don't depend on it like you had to when you were a girl, and those things have kind of fell by the wayside. And it's like anything else, if you don't do it, you forget how to do it. You know, You think, well, I remember I helped with that, but I don't remember exactly how Mama did it. I don't remember exactly what they did.
We do a lot of notes.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot, when you have all the work to do. Beecher was working at Oak Ridge, and he would be down there through the week. So me and the kids, we had to take care of the farm, the cows and everything. So that, you learn how to do.
Once you're hands-on.
Yeah, you do.
So he worked there during, what years would that have been?
He went in 1950, and he worked 35 years.
Oh, wow. Yeah, and retired.
And we took care of the farm.
Yeah, yeah.
We, when he retired and he came home, one day we got a phone call from one of the boys, and he answered the phone, and they said, "I need to talk to Mom." And after we got off the phone, he said, "Why did they not ask me? Every time they call, they say, I want to talk to Mom." I said, "Well, you just remember, you were gone 35 years, and they had to ask Mom every question."
Yeah, everything.
It was different.
Yeah.
We had it hard sometimes, but we had a good life. Kids loved it, and they still like it.
Oh, yeah. Did you have cows? I see you've got some down there now.
We've got cows. They're all over the woods there. And at that time we had hogs and chickens and turkeys. Anything that the boys could capture, they had.
They'd have, yeah.
Yeah.
So did you make, like with the cows, did you have a milk cow? Did you make butter and
We did.
do all that?
We had butter. We made butter. We had buttermilk. Everything that we go to the store and buy now, we made it. We made our lard. We had our butter. We had everything. The only thing we had to go get was sugar and salt and soda and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
It's a very, maybe a hard physically way to live, but a very rewarding way to live, to be that self-sufficient.
oh yeah, you learn a lot. I could tell you things I've learned, and Beecher's brother had sheep, and he didn't have anyone to help him. His kids were not able to help him, and I'd go help him shear the sheep. The only thing I done was held him on the board, but he did the shaving. But I did a lot of things. I have delivered pigs when the hog couldn't have babies. My hands was better than men's hands.
Yeah.
So I've done a lot in my time.
You just seen what was before you and knew you had to do it.
I did it.
That's a real strength.
And I didn't learn to drive until, oh my goodness, the Stanley, I think, was 5-year-old. We were here without a vehicle all that time. So if somebody got sick, I had to walk to the neighbor's house and get them to take us to the doctor. But eventually I went and got my license.
Talking about, you mentioned the doctors, did you also, I'm sure you used like medicinal remedies maybe that you knew about or that your mother had taught you or someone?
My mother was part Indian. She was Cherokee Indian. And she knew all the herbs. And we would go out in the pasture, she'd show us what together, and we'd dry those herbs. And we'd doctor with that. But I could not tell you one of them now. In fact, we don't have them now because we plow and weed eat so much that the plants don't have a chance to grow. And the pastures at then would have the different herbs that used for different things, and she knew what they were. That was good.
We spend an awful lot of time making everything neat and tidy today, but we don't realize what we're mowing down and what we're destroying.
We can't stand for a weed to grow. Back then they had weeds everywhere, but I never, after I got married, I didn't fool with the herbs too much. I was afraid I'd get the wrong one.
Yeah.
So we had to go to the doctor.
So she learned that, I'm sure, from her family.
She did. And she doctored us as we were growing up with herbs. If we got a sore throat, she knew exactly what to use. If we had a tummy ache, she knew a different one. But we didn't follow through with that. Well, like I say, they're not there anymore.
Yeah, different. Well, what do you think about living in this area?
Wouldn't change it for nothing. When I go off, we go on vacation, and I can't wait to get back home. I like it right here. I like my flowers. I didn't make the garden this year, but I sure have worked in the flowers. But I wouldn't want to live anywhere else.
It's a good place.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we won't wear you out anymore today, but now that I've met you, I'm going to want to come back. That's going to be your problem. You're not going to be able to get rid of me.
That will be good. And this is the movie star Violet.
Yeah. Well, you will be after this. The movie star Violet.
George Sandsworth, it's not on yet, is it?
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.